Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're going deep on something that drives pretty much all of us crazy, those invisible forces that can suddenly bring your entire wireless world to a screeching halt. We're talking about radio frequency interference.
So if you've just powered through that incredible 10-part tutorial by RFI detectives, radio frequency interference with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and IoT devices, first off, a huge congratulations. That was a serious deep dive aimed right at technically savvy folks like you. For this explainer, we're going to recap the absolute key takeaways from all 10 of those chapters, really cementing everything you learned about the wild world of RFI.
You know the feeling, right? 1 minute you're on a critical video call, everything is crystal clear, and the next, you know the feeling, right? 1 minute you're on a critical video call, everything is crystal clear, and the next,
What's really going on is that your desk, your home, your office, it's a battlefield. All of your wireless gear, your laptop, your phone, your fancy new headset, even your smart lights, they're all fighting for the exact same, very limited resource, the radio spectrum. Okay, so to really understand this battlefield, we need to get a handle on how these signals actually move around, and this is the important part, how they end up crashing into each other. Just like you learned in the first few chapters of the tutorial, it all boils down to the basic physics of radio waves.
Every single piece of data, whether it's a simple text or a huge 4K video file, it goes on this little four-step adventure. A transmitter creates the signal, it travels out through the air, it smacks into a bunch of other signals, and then finally, your device has to try and make sense of the mess. And as we all know, the real trouble kicks in right there at step 3.
So, let's talk about the actual highways our data is trying to drive on. The tutorial did a fantastic job breaking this down when it went into the different frequency bands.
The best way to think about it is like this. The 2.4 GHz band is like a busy 2-lane local road. Sure, it goes a long way and can get through some rough patches, but it is absolutely packed with traffic. Then you have the 5.8 GHz band. That's a wide-open superhighway with way more lanes. We're talking up to 25 clean, non-overlapping channels. The only catch is, its exits don't reach quite as far.
And this number? Well, this is a total game changer. The new 6 GHz band adds a whopping 1200 MHz of new spectrum. That's like building a brand new, totally pristine superhighway just for our devices. It's the clean slate that cool new tech like Wi-Fi 6E is built on.
Okay, so what's causing all the gridlock on these data highways? As the tutorial showed in detail, the culprits are usually hiding in plain sight, and they're not always the things you'd suspect.
And this list just illustrates the problem perfectly, doesn't it? It's not just your stuff, it's your neighbor's router blasting right through your wall. It's your own Bluetooth keyboard. And yep, it's even your microwave nuking last night's pizza. All of those things are shouting in the exact same space your Wi-Fi is trying to have a conversation.
Now this is the problem you're going to face most often. At its core, it's just two devices trying to talk at the exact same time in the exact same lane. It's a data collision. And the result? Both messages get scrambled, they have to be sent again, and everything slows way down. So, how do you even know if you're a victim of one of these invisible traffic jams? Well, as you learned in the diagnostic parts of the course, your devices will actually give you some pretty clear warning signs.
The number one red flag is just an unreliable, flaky connection. If you're constantly having to reconnect to Wi-Fi or you watch it drop for no reason you can see, interference is a very, very likely suspect. The problem isn't that you don't have a signal, it's that the quality of that signal is getting torpedoed.
This quote from the source material is just perfect. The timing of your connection problems is a massive clue. If your network is rock solid until noon hits and everyone in the building heats up their lunch, well, you've probably found your culprit. Correlating those dropouts with other events is absolutely key. Ultimately, it all comes down to this one critical number, the signal-to-noise ratio. Think of it like trying to have a conversation. For a clear connection, the signal your device wants to hear, your conversation, has to be a lot louder than all the background chatter. When that noise level creeps up, your data just gets lost in the crowd.
Okay, so let's tie all this together. After going through 10 chapters of some pretty deep technical stuff, what's the big takeaway from the RFI Detectives tutorial?
It really is this: by understanding the environment, by knowing how to spot the sources of interference, and by recognizing the symptoms, you can go from being a victim of RFI to actually being in control of your wireless world. You now have the framework to track down and solve these invisible problems.
And for everyone who stuck with it and finished the entire tutorial, you now have some serious, expert-level knowledge to go out and tackle these challenges head-on. You've made that powerful shift from just being a user to being an active troubleshooter. So really, congratulations.
And that leaves us with a final, pretty big thought. The radio spectrum isn't getting any bigger. It's a finite, shared resource. And as our world fills up with billions more connected devices, from our cars to our coffee makers, the challenge of managing all this invisible traffic is going to become one of the most critical puzzles in all of technology. The real question isn't if we'll have more interference, but how we're going to engineer our way through it.